Hi, I'm Christina.
I'm Maya from Bookroom Dreams, and welcome to a new video. So this is our review of Saint's Blood, Book 3 in the Greatcoat series by Sebastian de Castell. In this book, we follow Falkio and his friends as someone is going around killing the saints of their world. Now, in this world, it's like a low magic system, which basically comes to the forefront in this one. We have saints who are like people who are very good at what they do. So you have a saint of swords, a saint of mercy, saint of love, saint of valor, and so on and so on. And basically, someone has discovered that if you kill a saint and take all their blood, you can have some, not of their power, but just general power and become more powerful. And that's what people are doing. And there's also like you meet some of the gods that are in this world, and there's like a whole general plot concerning that. Yes. And on the other side, we have Falkio and Aline, the future queen. They have been, in the last book, they have been given a year to sort of establish order in the world and to sort of teach Aline how to be a queen. Rule. Thank you. That was like, and it's not going well. Yeah. And yeah, that's basically the premise of this book. Okay. Right. So far, this has been my favorite book in the whole series.
Agreed.
Because of, first of all, it basically is a bit smaller in scale than the previous one, the previous two actually, and it's more concentrated on one thing and not like all over the place, which is really interesting. Also, Falkio now has come back into my good graces. In the second one, he was so annoying, but in this one, I really fell for him because things that I saw as injustices to him, and his contribution to the whole thing was like I was so mad for him. I was sending her messages like, if I were Falkio, I would have told them all to go to hell and just left them there. But he wouldn't do that because he's very noble and he's very what was it, the sentence? How does the guy
arrogant, moralizing, show off.
Yes, that is what he is, and I'm enjoying that currently. We'll see what happens in the fourth one, but yeah. What do you think about the book?
So this was also my favorite of the series so far. As Maya said, I enjoyed that it had a single plot line. And that the action scenes weren't jam-packed one after the other. That you had actually a clear line where from like start to finish, where it was like, okay, this is happening. This is the intriguing part. We are investigating this. We are finding a solution to this. So it was just like you didn't have a million characters that you had to focus on, a million strands of like plots that needed to be kind of put together. So you could actually enjoy the characters more.
Yes. And you can also focus on the consequences. Like previously, in the second one, so many things happened, especially with Greatcoat's lament. Yes. And basically, they just sort of glossed over it. And in the third one, we get to deal with all the consequences of the previous book, but also we get to deal with the consequences of the actions that happen in this one. Like, for example, we follow Castell. He became the Saint of Swords in the first one, right? Yes. In the second one, he lost his hand and he's now like in limbo. He doesn't know what he can do, and every time he picks up a sword, he's hurting. And in this book, we sort of follow his arc as he's dealing with now losing the power that he had, but also finding a different purpose for himself, which happens like in the last battle when he figures out, well, he can defend people with a shield, not just with a sword. And just basically, becomes stronger in that way. Then we also deal with Falkio finally. Well, it took some nudging, but he finally deals with some of the trauma that he suffered in the previous books and so on. But also,
even Brasty finds like a purpose for himself, because he we get to find out he never actually felt like really a part of the Greatcoat. So he finds something that is more intrinsic to him and what he is as a character. And I think there's a lot more character development in general. Even we get to see a lot more of Aline. We get to see a lot more of Aliana.
She gets to do something, right?
Yes, and we get to see a lot more of Aliana and what she is made of and stuff she's made of. So you just get focused on the characters more. I think that's why we liked it, because it was like a really good ratio of characters and actual plot and like that bravery stuff and like
action and over the top fun that happens in all of the books. We also get to see a lot of new characters. So we see the Inquisition. So there's this dude, I forgot the guy's name, but who is like the main Inquisitor, who's there. He's not from the church's side. He's something else. Is he with the church or something else? He's something else.
Like it has religious connotations. Like it has some real. Yes. It has something to do with religion, but they don't have like a single church. They have like multiple churches, and they're trying to kind of. I don't even.
Well, it's complicated. The point of this one, sort of the main villain wants people. The main villain. This is going to be spoilers for people who haven't read it. So the main villain is like an old god who wants, because gods have lost power because people don't really believe in them anymore. So he created such chaos that people would rally behind one god, him. Yeah. Right. So he creates his own army, which are the knights that basically lost in the previous book. And we also have the Inquisitors, which is like the general churchy thing that's happening there. That basically
are used. Church police.
Yes,
something like that.
They were like, the plan was to sort of also use them as the new Greatcoats.
Yeah.
And of course that gives them, puts them in conflict with the actual Greatcoats. And there's also differences between them because the Greatcoats don't really use guns and stuff, while the Inquisition does. And which created a really fun tension between Falkio and the dude whose name escapes me, of course. This book was more political than the previous one. Yes, we get to see how things work. We get to see, as you said before, Valiana do her job, and Valiana teaching Aline how to maneuver and such. You have to do this, and then you have to compliment this person.
Basically, the court life.
And them trying to teach Falkio how to do politics was really funny, because that would never work.
And that is why I know you hated that he was like that they hid stuff from him.
Yes.
Like. She hated that at one point, like, he wasn't privy to like the protocol for protecting Aline and Valiana and stuff like that. But to some degree, I understand, because
I get it too.
Because he does really like to be a know-it-all and like put himself into.
He likes to be in control of stuff.
Yes. However, he really does not understand politics at all. Like he is really good at what he does. But the political life, the like nuances of court life, of dealing with like dukes and like like religious leaders and stuff, it's like just beyond him. He's just too moral, I think.
Yes, but he's
to kind of deal with them.
Yes, he's above all that.
Yeah.
And also he's so driven by his anger and rage because of what happened to his wife and what happened to the king. And he just basically colors every action that he has. Like, do you realize that because of his wife, the Greatcoats exist now?
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for the murder of his wife, he wouldn't go to kill the king, and he wouldn't meet the king and then become it. So he's really driven by that. He's internalized all this rage and he doesn't deal with it. And that's why in this one we get to see that how he's at odds. Because in the second book, he sort of finds a new love. And when this new love becomes the Saint of Mercy, which is basically when you fight somebody, and when you beat them, you're supposed to stop. And Falkio doesn't stop. He kills things. We see this conflict in them as well, because we basically find out, well, okay, he is stuck in his way. I don't know what's going to happen in the fourth one.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully he doesn't die, but I think that's the only way that like he's gonna like lose all his rage and lose, just because he just that's what's like.
Yeah, I mean, he just has this big PTSD thing going on that he doesn't really deal with, and like through even the first and the second book, he kind of goes through a lot of trauma, which kind of pulls out all of that again. So he basically, I mean, he is forced to relive something that caused the PTSD in itself, and like I think just doubles it. And I just asked Maya before we started filming, although you said like we see an idolized version of this king of his, it came to me like in this book especially, like how manipulative and like villainous he was, because he basically named his daughter after Falkio's wife and sent Falkio to find her. Like that was like, I mean, you're really basically playing on this man's suffering and rage and hate, the biggest trauma of his life, to achieve your post-mortem, basically, goals. And I really like Bayless at that point was like, is literally very low on my like.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't like him because like that was really just mean and awful to do. I mean, okay, he was king, he like
had a job to do, had this vision
but like
that he
still,
wanted to, yeah.
And what I found interesting with Falkio, because like he is so in awe of his wife, he really idolizes her so much, but at the same time, he keeps underestimating all the women that he comes
in contact with
throughout his life. Like, he underestimates Aline, which is very obvious here. He underestimates Valiana, because we with both of them, we have scenes where he's like, oh my god, you're actually capable. You know this. You fixed this without my help. And like I know he feels protective of them because they're younger than him, but at the same time, you can't just, assume they don't know anything. Even with his love interest, he's just like, I don't know. Like, I that is like one thing I really don't like about him, because he does that throughout all the books. Like, he really just keeps underestimating them. But they keep showing him he's wrong. So yes. I like that, because I think that helps with his character growth. On the other hand,
another thing I liked about this book, we get to learn more about the world. We learned about how the world came to be. We learned about the gods. We learned more about the saints. We also learned about like the philosophy and stuff of the Greatcoats, how they have names for everything. So there's like we learned about all the 8 different types of duelists. We learned how they have names for like mob control.
Yeah,
that was really funny. There's lots of there's more like magic and trickery in this one, and I was surprised it wasn't as dark as the last third of the second book, where we had the whole event, but still there were some gory parts with them actually like bleeding the saints and the whole, that was kind of like, okay,
the moths,
yes, like whatever, and the crazy people, the empowered people that came around and killed everybody, and just the whole poisoning of Valiana that happened, and what
the head thingy.
Yes, and like it was just, anyway, but I really enjoyed this one. This one was my favorite, really, so far. We'll see what happens in the 4th one. I'm looking forward to the ending of that.
Like, I really am a person who does not like action scenes. Like, I really, like, I go through them and I'm like, okay, stop already. Actually, like, the final action scene in this one was just like, I really, really loved it.
All right. So, anything else we want to talk about?
No, I think we're good.
All right. So, we did the reviews of book 1 and book 2, so you can check them out up here and down below in the description box.
Please like, share, subscribe, press the bell button if you want to get notifications whenever we post new videos.
And thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.